Oh my God, if I die, I'm a legend. When they lay me down to rest, I know I was always repping. Oh my God, my whole life.
What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video we're going to be doing an initial comparison between the iPhone 10 versus the Google Pixel 2 XL. This is a video that a lot of you guys have been asking me for, and if you're interested in seeing the initial comparison between the Pixel 2 XL versus the iPhone 8 Plus, then that will be linked in the cards as well as in the description below. So let's get straight to it. There is a difference in size between these two. The Pixel 2 XL coming in a little bit larger compared to the iPhone 10, around 14.8mm in terms of the height, 5.3mm in terms of the width, and it's also 0.2mm thicker. Now that is partly because the Pixel 2 XL has a larger display, 6 inches versus 5.8 inches on the iPhone 10, but the iPhone 10 does have a better screen to body ratio compared to the Pixel 2 XL, even with that notch at the top. And because of that, it is going to be more compact and easier to use in one hand. Now both displays have OLED technology, so you're going to get really deep blacks and some really nice and vibrant colors. But the iPhone 10 does have a better contrast ratio, 1,000,000 to 1 versus 100,000 to 1. Now both of these are going to be absolutely great, don't get me wrong, but the iPhone 10 gets a slight edge here because of the contrast ratio, and the iPhone 10 also has 3D touch, so you can push down harder on icons and things, and that's going to give you more options. The Pixel 2 XL, however, does have an always-on display, so this is going to give you information such as the time, notifications, and it's also got a new feature called Now Playing, which is going to listen to your surroundings. Sounds kind of freaky, I know, but it's going to act like Shazam, for instance, but without you having to do anything. So if there's some music playing in the room, it's going to tell you what that is already without you having to even touch the device, and then you can get more information about the track that's playing. So really cool, a little bit freaky. Now another reason why the Pixel 2 XL is slightly larger is because it has dual front-facing speakers. So this is really cool, and it's going to give you a very nice and immersive experience when you're viewing media and things like that. With the iPhone 10, you do have stereo speakers, but you've got one in the earpiece and one bottom facing. So the second speaker, you may be able to cover that up if you've got your device in your hand or something. You're going to be less likely to do that with the Pixel 2 XL. So this is going to come down to your personal preference. Do you want a slightly larger display with those front-firing speakers, or do you want a slightly smaller display with a notch, but something that's a lot more compact compared to the Pixel 2 XL. Now looking at the resolution, both of these have a very high resolution for the displays, so you're going to have some very sharp and crisp details. With the Pixel 2 XL, however, you do have a higher PPI, 538 PPI versus 458. Now don't get me wrong, both of these are going to be absolutely great, but when it comes to VR, then the Pixel 2 XL does get the edge here because of the high resolution display, and it's going to work great with the Daydream viewer. Now in terms of the weight, both of these are practically the same. There's just 1 gram between them, but once again, the iPhone 10 is going to be a little bit more comfortable to hold because of the smaller size. And in terms of the build, both of these have a very premium build. The iPhone 10 has a metal frame with glass panels on the front and back, and with the Pixel 2 XL, you've also got metal and glass, but it is primarily a metal device, metal unibody, with a glass panel just at the top, which is an evolution of last year's design. Now which one of these looks better is obviously going to come down to your personal preference. Both of these are IP67 water and dust resistant, so that's absolutely great to see. And moving on to the internals, we've got some very fast processors on both of these. We've got the Apple A11 Bionic chip on the iPhone 10 with 3GB of RAM. On the Pixel 2 XL, you've got the Snapdragon 835 with 4GB of RAM. Now speed and performance is going to be heavily down to the operating systems. You've got Android versus iOS. One great thing here is that both of these have a stock experience, so there's no skin on top, and that's going to mean that you're going to be getting updates right away from Google and from Apple, and you're not going to have to wait around for ages to get those updates, and they're going to be very smooth overall. No doubt we'll do a speed test once we've got the retail versions of both of these in hand, and if you want to see that first, then make sure you have subscribed and switch on notifications. Now another super SAF style comparison I know you guys will love to see is with the cameras, and both of these have some absolutely great cameras. On the iPhone 10, you've got a dual 12 megapixel camera setup, and both of these are optically stabilized, which is absolutely great. And the primary camera has an f1.8 aperture, the secondary camera has an f2.4 aperture. This is going to give you a few things. Firstly, it's going to give you some optical zoom, 2x optical zoom, great for getting in close to your subjects. It's going to give you a portrait mode where it's going to allow you to blur the background. This works really well on the iPhone 8 Plus, and I've already posted lots of samples with this on my Instagram, so definitely do go ahead and check that out. And finally, it's also going to give you portrait lighting. This is a feature which is going to let you have some different lighting effects after the fact. Some of these work well, some of them not so much, but this is currently in beta, and the software is going to be updated with time, so that's once again quite promising. With the Pixel 2 XL, you have a single 12.2 megapixel camera. This has electronic as well as optical image stabilization. It has an f1.8 aperture, and it has laser as well as dual pixel autofocus. Now, even though it is just a single camera, it is still going to give you a portrait mode where it's going to blur the background. This is through machine learning as well as using the dual pixel setup. So once again, this does look very, very promising. We will do a comparison as soon as we have the retail versions of both out. And once again, make sure you have subscribed to see that first. And when it comes to video, the iPhone 10 does get the edge here because it has 4K at 60 frames a second. It also has 1080p at 240 frames a second. With the Pixel 2 XL, you've got 4K at 30 frames a second, 1080p at 120 frames a second, but 720p at 240 frames a second. So for frame rates, you're getting more options here on the iPhone 10, and that is thanks to the Apple A11 Bionic chip. Now for the front-facing cameras, the iPhone 10 has a 7 megapixel front-facing camera with an f2.2 aperture. With the Pixel 2 XL, you've got an 8 megapixel front-facing camera with an f2.4 aperture. Both of these have a portrait mode, so this is where the background is going to be blurred. I've had a chance to test this out on the Pixel 2 XL and it works absolutely great. So what this is going to be a great comparison, which one does portrait mode from the front-facing cameras better. With the iPhone 10, you still get the portrait lighting modes from the front-facing camera as well. And once again, this is going to be a very useful feature, and the reason why you can do this is because of Face ID. So Apple this time have got rid of Touch ID, so there is no fingerprint scanner on the iPhone 10, but you do have Face ID where it's going to scan your face to unlock your device and things, and it's also going to use those sensors to firstly give you that portrait mode as well as portrait lighting, but also it's going to give you animojis, so this is where you're going to be able to turn yourself into poo if you're into that kind of thing. I don't know, I'm personally not, but you know, that's an option there. With the Pixel 2 XL, you've got Pixel Imprint, which is the fingerprint scanner to the back. Which of these is more convenient is going to come down to your personal preference. Now, one thing that both devices have in common is that they don't have a headphone jack. They both got rid of the headphone jack, and you now have Lightning or USB Type-C, which you can use for wired headphones. Both of these do come with a converter out of the box, and they both do support Bluetooth 5.0, so that's great if you want to use wireless headphones. But with the Pixel 2 XL, you're not going to get headphones out of the box. With the iPhone 10, you're going to get your standard earpods, which have a lightning connector out of the box. Now, both of these also have a personal assistant. You've got Siri versus Google Assistant. With the Google Assistant, you are going to be able to launch that by squeezing the device. It's called Active Edge. This is something similar to what we've seen on the HTC U11 previously, but you're only going to be able to use that to launch Google Assistant or silence calls when you have them. You can't customize this. I'm not sure if this is going to change later on. Probably not. And you've also got Google Lens on the Pixel 2 XL. This is going to be able to recognize your surroundings. So you could point this at a poster, for example, and it's going to extract information such as an email address directly from there. You can just say, hey Google, give me the email address from this, and it's going to let you do that. So really, really cool. Looking forward to really checking this out in depth. Now moving on to the batteries, with the iPhone 10 you've got a smaller 2716 mAh battery. With the Google Pixel 2 XL you've got a 3520 mAh battery, so a much larger battery on the Pixel 2 XL. Another reason for its larger size as well. Now which one of these performs better, we are going to have to see and do some side-by-side tests. A lot of this will come down to the optimizations, the software, as well as your usage. One thing that's great on both devices is that you do have fast charging, so you're going to be able to get your quick top-ups. But on the iPhone 10, this is not coming out of the box. You are going to have to buy this separately, so it's around about £75 here in the UK. I've done a video all about this, and you can see that in the cards as well as in the description. With the Pixel 2 XL, this is going to come out of the box. But one thing you don't have on the Pixel 2 XL is wireless charging. You do have wireless charging on the iPhone 10. This once again does not come out of the box. You're going to have to buy this separately, but it does support Qi wireless charging, so work with most of the wireless chargers out there right now. Now finally, looking at the price, you are going to be paying quite a bit more for the iPhone 10 compared to the Pixel 2 XL, starting at £1,000 or $1,000, and that is for the 64GB base model. For the 64GB base model, the Pixel 2 XL, you're going to be paying £800 or $850. So you're going to be saving roughly 15 to 20% on the Pixel 2 XL. Quite a big difference, and something definitely to consider if you're on a bit of a budget. And in terms of release, both of these are going to be available in November time. There is a larger storage version option available on the iPhone 10, which is the 256GB version. You can only get a maximum of 128GB on the Pixel 2 XL, but with the Pixel 2 XL, you do have unlimited storage by Google, so you can back up all of your images and video at full resolution up until the end of 2020. So that is an additional option that you get on there for free. So guys, that is the initial comparison breakdown between the iPhone 10 and the Google Pixel 2 XL. Both very, very promising devices with great features. Which one do you think is the one for you? Definitely drop me a comment below and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. If you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe and switch on notifications. There's lots more content with both devices coming up here on the channel. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV. I'll see you next time.